Look up. Tonight, search for that pale, familiar light that has watched over humanity since its birth. We use it to mark our calendars, to guide our ships, to measure the madness in our myths. Now, imagine it's not there. It is not a new moon. It is not hidden by clouds. It is simply gone. There is no flash of light from its destruction, no explosion. Just a sudden, impossible absence. A gravitational silence. A perfect void in the sky that for millennia was the anchor for our tides, our seasons, and our very sanity. The panic on Earth wouldn't start immediately. It would begin with confusion. Millions staring at an uncanny sky, waiting for an explanation that won't come. But the planet would notice its absence. Instantly. This is not an astronomy exercise. This is a case file on a cataclysm. A deep analysis of the physics of our own demise. This is the chaos scenario. The Great Reset. The moon and the Earth are bound by an invisible grip, gravity. We are a binary system. The moon's pull is so powerful that it doesn't just pull on our oceans, it pulls on the entire Earth. This pull creates two tidal bulges of water on opposite sides of our planet. Those are our high tides. The instant the moon vanishes, that grip is released. Imagine holding a rubber band stretched to its absolute limit, and suddenly, one end snaps. The energy doesn't just disappear, it is violently released. The Earth's oceans, freed from the lunar pull, would rebound. The two massive bulges of water, each one a continent-sized swell, would collapse, released from their gravitational leash. We are not talking about high tides. We are talking about a singular, global realignment event. A slosh of planetary proportions. This collapse would trigger a series of oscillating waves. Walls of water, not just hundreds, but perhaps thousands of meters high, would begin moving at the speed of a jetliner, scouring the continents. The sound would be a low-frequency roar, heard thousands of miles inland before the water ever arrived. Coastal cities. New York, Tokyo, London, Buenos Aires. They would stand no chance. They wouldn't just be flooded, they would be scoured to the bedrock. These waves would rebound off mountain ranges, pulling back, only to return again and again as the oceans desperately seek a new chaotic equilibrium, dictated now only by the sun. In the first 24 hours, billions would die. And this is just the water. Simultaneously, the Earth itself, the solid rock beneath our feet, would relax. The land tide, the solid crust that bulges meters toward the moon, would snap back. This would trigger catastrophic, planet-wide earthquakes and volcanic eruptions. The atmosphere would fill with ash, choking the sky just as the oceans consume the land. This isn't an apocalypse. It is a planetary sterilization. The primal night. For the few who survive the aquatic cataclysm and tectonic fury, perhaps on high plateaus far inland, they would face the second impact, the darkness. We have fundamentally misunderstood the night. We think of it as the absence of the sun, but it is not. The night, as we know it, is the domain of the moon. A full moon is thousands of times brighter than the most luminous stars. It is a reflector that has given us a second chance at sight. Without it, the night becomes absolute. Primordial. The psychological impact would be immense. Total darkness has a weight. It's an oppressive, sensory deprivation. But the ecological impact would be a final, silent sentence. Life on Earth has evolved under this lunar rhythm for over 1 billion years. Millions of nocturnal species depend on it. This isn't just about seeing. Owls, bats, and moths navigate by sensing the polarized light of the moon. Without it, they are blind. Entire ecosystems would collapse. Predators that use ambient light to spot silhouettes would starve. Their prey, which use the moon's shadows to hide, would have no cover. The deep-sea deal vertical migration, the largest migration on Earth where creatures rise and fall with the moon's light, would cease. The food chain would be severed at its base. The corals, which synchronize their mass spawning events across entire oceans to specific lunar phases, would fail. Within a single generation, they would be gone. Migratory birds, navigating by that pale light, would be lost at sea. And then there is us. Our own circadian rhythms, our sleep, our hormonal cycles, are tethered to this ancient clock. We would face a world of global insomnia, a psychological unraveling, as we are confronted by an abyss. The sky would no longer be a map. It would be a void. The broken clock. As survivors adjust to the new darkness, something more fundamental begins to change. Time itself. This is not poetry, it is physics. The moon, through the friction of the tides it creates, has been slowing Earth's rotation for billions of years. It is a giant break, and it is the reason our days last 24 hours. Without the moon, there is no break. This is the principle of the conservation of angular momentum. The Earth-Moon system is a single spinning entity. When you remove the moon, which has been slowly drifting away and taking momentum with it, the Earth must compensate. It must spin faster. Slowly at first, but inexorably, the days would shorten. From 24 hours to 20 to 15. The calculations vary, but the consensus is terrifying. A post-lunar day on Earth could eventually stabilize at just 6 to 8 hours. 3 or 4 hours of frantic scorched sunlight, followed by 3 or 4 hours of absolute, freezing darkness. The consequences? Wind. Wind unlike anything human history has ever recorded. Our atmosphere is not designed for that rotational speed. The accelerating Coriolis force, the same force that spins hurricanes, would be amplified beyond imagination. It would unleash perpetual superstorms. We are not talking about a Category 5 hurricane. We are talking about hyper-hurricanes the size of continents. Sustained winds of 300, 400, 500 kilometers per hour wouldn't be an event. They would be the standard global weather. This wind would not just topple trees, it would become a permanent abrasive force, generating geological scale erosion in mere days. The surface temperature differential between the 3-hour day and 3-hour night would be extreme, fueling these winds into a global blender. The surface of the planet would become a wind-scoured, uninhabitable desert. The climate sentence. But not the floods, not the darkness, not the wind, is the true apocalypse. The final blow is the most elegant, the most patient, and by far the most lethal. The moon is our stabilizer, our anchor. The Earth has an axial tilt of 23.5 degrees. That tilt is what gives us seasons. And the gravity of the moon, our massive, oversized partner, holds it steady. It dampens the chaotic gravitational pulls from Jupiter, Saturn, and the Sun. Without the moon, that stability is gone. Our axis is unleashed. Our planet would begin to wobble in its orbit. Scientists call this chaotic obliquity variation. We would call it hell. If you want to see a world without a large moon, look at Mars. Its axis is chaotic. It swings wildly over millions of years, from 0 degrees to 60 degrees. This is why Mars is the frozen, barren world it is. The Earth would become Mars. The axis could tilt to 10 degrees, nearly eliminating seasons. Or it could swing to 45 or 60, or even 80 degrees. Imagine what this means. It means the circulo-polar Arctico could move to where Paris stands today. It means the Amazon rainforest could find itself plunged into a decades-long polar night, freezing solid. It means the Sahara Desert could end up at the new pole, buried under a kilometer of ice, while Antarctica, pointed directly at the sun for months on end, would melt at an unimaginable rate, raising sea levels even higher. The climate would not just change, it would be obliterated. Agriculture is impossible. A stable temperature is a memory. The chaos scenario is not an explosion. It is a systemic collapse. It is the removal of the one gear that keeps the entire clock of our world ticking. In a matter of years, the Earth would be unrecognizable. A broken world, scoured by wind and water, choked in darkness, and rocked by a climate so violent that complex life, including us, would have nowhere left to hide. Look up tonight. See that pale light. It is not just a rock in space. It is the only reason this world is a home. It is the anchor that holds back the chaos. And we do not know how fragile that anchor truly is.